So we're going to talk about timeline crystallization. And this code just dropped in. What exactly is timeline crystallization? So many people in the collective are experiencing higher realities, meaning maybe things are pretty good for you right now. Maybe things have been working out, or maybe you're experiencing reality in a way where you have access to certain things that you didn't have access to in the past. So it's sort of like this past version of you is just grateful and thankful to have what you have now. Okay. However, when we get into this concept of timeline crystallization, what happens is you are going from good to great. And this is really like a core ascension blueprint. You know, you're going from I have just enough to I have more than enough. You feel, tune into the frequency expansion of that, right? I'm just getting by to I feel expansive. Things are good. Things are working out to things are miraculous, magical, incredible. And so this timeline crystallization is you no longer being afraid to release things that are no longer in resonance. And the thing that happens is the more this ascension blueprint begins to unlock from your soul, you will go through multiple tiers of things even faster. So for an example, I want to use the example of like soul tiers or soul groups of people. Let's say you meet a new group of people and you're like, oh my gosh, like this is my star tribe. This is my soul family. Like these are the people I've been waiting for, right? This is happening for a lot of people. But then let's say in 4 months, you're like, this is not really in resonance. And there's a part of your human that might think, but I should be so thankful that I even met these people, because I remember a time where I felt more lonely or isolated, or that there weren't people who understood me. But no, timeline crystallization is you will continue to accelerate through time and space even faster, going through multiple tiers of people, of experiences, of situations, of themes, and it just gets better and better and better and better. So I want to ask you something right now, which is, what are you holding on to? I just created or shared a reel today where I essentially explained there was something that I agreed to do, like something I was going to be a part of that just was not in resonance with me, right? I thrive on energetic momentum. So when things are in resonance, I am like excited, like how my energy is charged up right now. I was excited to hop on here, and I am very like fine-tuned within myself now, where I only do things when the energy feels like this, because I understand the expansion and the energetic momentum behind that. Me feeling that way is telling me that it's in resonance. Anyways, something I agreed to do that I just like what the energy wasn't moving. I just was not feeling it. I wasn't vibrating correctly. I wasn't in tune with the way that my inner child likes to feel when I get on board with something. But I felt a sense of obligation. I felt a sense of responsibility. I felt a sense of, you know, just like you, I really like to stand true to my word. Like if I say I'm going to do something, I want to do it. But the energy just wasn't there. And I finally got to a point where I said, you know what? It could be so many different reasons as to why this is not in alignment. I'm getting a bunch of different mixed signals. But ultimately, I am going to decide to opt out of this thing. And when I tell you, within hours, I'm not even joking, hours, over the next hours, but then also over the next days, higher, more crystallized versions of a similar opportunity or thing I was going to engage in presented itself. And I could sort of see how in the field, it's like how Abraham Hicks talks about this vortex. I could see how these things literally just popped out of my vortex. And they popped out of my vortex because I made the decision to not hold on to we're not going to call it lower in a sense of bad or worse, just not as in resonance with the expanded version of where my soul had been wanting to take things. And so these new reflections, I go, wow, just there's so many small details and facets of what presented itself that just showed me clearly when things are out of resonance, it's because you've expanded beyond them. Okay? What have you expanded beyond? That you are clutching, you are grasping onto, you are holding onto, maybe because you're not even fathoming the fact that there's something else. You're not even contemplating the fact that spirit has something more or beyond, what you feel obligated to do. So I really like the crystallization of our desires, the concept of that, because our desires are continuously expanding as we expand. The things that you maybe once would have been excited and grateful for at a certain point, they do become less interesting. That should be happening, right? You should be, to a certain degree, expanding beyond your own expectations of what's possible. When you expand beyond your own expectations of what's possible, you keep accessing higher and higher and higher realities and parallel versions of yourself, and you go further and further and further and further and further out into the quantum, into versions of yourself that maybe at one point it would have took you 5 to 10 years to become this version. Now it takes you 5 to 10 months. To the human, that's scary, right? So we have, as this energy continues to accelerate, where people are like tipping over into the 5D and all that, and you're like beyond, like you're doing the thing already. We have to be comfortable with being this infinite container that can hold more, and trust that your higher self, who's guiding this whole thing, understands what your nervous system has the capacity for. This also is the activation of the crystalline nervous system coming online. What in the hell is a crystalline nervous system? Most of us have these nervous systems that thrive on chaos and thrive on just getting by or just having enough or being in this continuous fight or flight of trying to figure things out. The crystalline nervous system that's coming on for many people at this time operates differently, meaning it's not wired to hold more chaos, it's wired to hold more bliss. It's programmed to hold more perfection. It's programmed to hold more resonance. And so the more your nervous system is healing and getting on board with the new operating system, that means you can expand into more and more possibility and bliss than what before you could hold, right? Maybe if so many things went well for you or perfect for you or kept getting better and better and better and more exciting and more expansive, there's a part of us that in the past that would have overwhelmed us. We would have felt this is how many times have you felt like this is too good to be true? It's because the crystalline nervous system wasn't on board. As this activates, your higher self goes, oh, you can have that. You can also have that. You can also have that. And that can be better. And you can get a more fine-tuned version of that experience. And you can extract that. So these are just concepts and themes that we want to give the collective a heads up on as we all continue to expand faster into higher density. Okay? So if you're holding on to Source and the angelics want to emphasize the holding on specifically to people. That's really hard for us as humans because we feel like if we let this friendship go or if we let this relationship go, or this partner, or maybe even it's a toxic family member, then I will be alone. And the abandoned pieces of us is rejecting that feeling of loneliness. But putting it all back into context, every time I release something, I create space to hold more. And so when you get the courage to release what is actually leaving your experience, by the way, eventually, when you get the courage to stop wasting your own time and that person's time, and you release it, you create space, you become a container, and now source can fill you up with more, something better, something that you would actually enjoy. We have to start believing that there's something else. And source is just emphasizing, every time we close one door, we always open 3 more. Without a question, without a doubt. That is how the technology works. That is how the quantum technology works. Source is not going to leave you high and dry. You know what I mean? But you have to agree to create the space. And oftentimes this shows up as a bit of a test. Not a test in a sense of, getting you to prove yourself, but a test that gets you to fine tune your ability to choose higher and better when certain reflections have served their purpose. That's what we're getting at. You will know when something has served its purpose. There will be no energy behind it. There will be no inspiration behind it. There will be no stimulation associated with it. It will feel flat, like just it's flat. It's flat, right? Someone says, I want to quit my job. It's so toxic and doesn't align with my purpose right now. This happens oftentimes in work where what's happening is we're shifting through the quantum so fast. We're shifting through parallel versions of ourselves that is no longer in alignment with that work we were doing, or with that environment, or with those people. So when we're still there, but we're still surrounded by the energy of what we've outgrown, it can, every single day in that job or position can feel like a piece of you is dying. Now, at a grounded level, in this particular instance, what you can do to alchemize this energy is work with gratitude. Work with gratitude. Well, I'm so thankful that I still have this as a source of income while I'm aligning with the next best thing. If you say, well, I hate it and it's toxic, okay, yes, you've outgrown the energy, but simultaneously you keep yourself there because you don't align with the higher vibration. This is how we can also get stuck in time loops in reality when we outgrow things, but we don't know how to sync up with the new frequency, okay? So if there are things that you've outgrown, such as relationships or jobs or whatever the case may be, you want to acknowledge what it has done for you, what it is currently providing for you, right? You give it that gratitude, that appreciation, while simultaneously calibrating to the desire of what you now prefer. Okay? So if I was going to relate this to a relationship, I would say, wow, I really can sense that I'm outgrowing this person or this situation. But I'm so thankful for the moments that we shared, everything that I've learned, all of the love that I've been able to give and receive. And I'm so excited to see what comes in next. There's no vibrational conflict. You see what I mean? If I say, I'm so sick of this person, they're so toxic, I cannot wait to get the fuck away from them, and I just leave it there, the energy stays there. And it's coming through like that because we know that's what some of you are thinking. I can't wait to get the fuck away from you, right? As soon as I get my situation figured out, I am out. We've all been there. But the thing is, if you leave in that vibration, if you leave a job in that vibration, if you leave a relationship in that vibration, if you leave anything in that vibration, what happens is you don't go to the next highest reality. Yes, you will shift something somewhere else in the field, but you'll go to a job where same energy shows up in a different form. Boss that you hate, some asshole colleagues that you can't stand, they gossip, whatever. The energy will follow you. This is why people remanifest the same partner in disguise over and over and over and over and over again. It's a very particular frequency to access the next available timeline, the next highest available timeline in the field, which is thank you for what you have given me. When I say thank you for what you've given me, I am not in an energetic bind. I am not creating karmic cycles. I am not keeping energetic cords with said person, situation, circumstance, condition, or event. Thank you for the exchange. Okay, time's up. I wish you well wherever you go next in the field. And now, there's no energetic attachment. You keep yourself free. You keep yourself navigating and moving without these things weighing you down and reliving the same lessons and experiences over and over again. If you are someone who's consistently had the same thing show up over and over and over again for years, it's time for you to take a look at that. Is it because on my way out, as I'm exiting, I haven't fully reconciled or crystallized the exchange? And so I'm harboring or carrying anger or resentment or pain or frustration as opposed to simply being at peace with what has presented itself. Absolutely. Break the cycle with gratitude. Gratitude is like such a white magic practice that can be used to alchemize most things. Pretty much all things. That happens for a lot of people where my voice is changing. It's just different guides and beings are like, channeling through its collective consciousness, working, doing their thing. On top of just my own personality shining through all of that. So let's see, what else would we like to touch on, folks? What is most relevant for the collective at this moment? This is also about deep self-trust. Really, really deep self-trust. And this is something that even for myself, I continue to work on. And years ago, I developed this saying, and it goes, what you feel is real. What you feel is real. If you just tell yourself that what I feel is real. So every time I have some feelings come up where I don't necessarily have the information, but the feelings themselves are psychic downloads. They are previews and a forecast of something to come that you don't yet have the information. And so when you tell yourself, well, what I feel is real, and you stop gaslighting yourself like you don't already know that this thing doesn't have the momentum or the stimulation that you're looking for, you need to let it go, you will allow yourself to shift. And what usually happens to me is the information will then reveal itself. Every single time, the information will reveal itself. At first, this is what it literally means to be psychic. You don't have the information. You just have the feeling, or you have the knowing. The more you trust the feeling and the more you trust the knowing, that is what can develop into more psychic intuition. And then you get to a point where you just know without a doubt, what I feel is real. I'm feeling this. I don't understand it. I don't have the information, but this is downloading from the quantum field. My higher self that can see all the timelines and the information that I can't see is letting me know in this moment, energetically translating, downloading to me that this is not in resonance. that is the highest psychic gift you will ever have, is to listen to your feelings. Don't write that off. It's like, yeah, I know people want the shiny gifts, like they want to see things and all of this, but if you can't even follow your own internal guidance system that is your feelings, the other clairs don't open up. They don't open up. You got to work with the technology that's already built into your design as a spiritual being. Okay? The feeling itself contains quantum multidimensional information that your mind can't fathom, so your mind doesn't need to know it yet. So then you get clear on that feeling, you act on that feeling, whatever you need to do, however you need to navigate a situation. And again, the information then always reveals itself in due time. And you're like, that's why I felt that way. I mean, I'm pretty sure everyone here pretty much has experienced this. That's why I was feeling that way about that person or about that thing or this, I didn't know, but I knew. I didn't know consciously, but I knew on a soul level because I am a quantum being and I am connected into infinite parallel realities, and my higher self is always giving me the feedback. When we trust that, it becomes knowing that develops into higher psychic faculties. So, what I feel is real. That has helped me whenever, because it is complex as a human. We're like, I'm feeling so much, like, how do I know if this is my ego, my shadow, my inner child? Like, I don't know. And you're trying to make sense of the experience. So what we'll say is, okay, follow patterns of repetition. If you continue to feel the same way about something, you continue to feel disconnected from something, you continue to experience a lack of excitement or enthusiasm pertaining to something, okay, that's a consistent feeling. That's not a feeling that's arising in the moment based on, being reactionary or some trauma or something like that. It's a pattern. It's a repetition. That's your guides trying to get your attention. Your guides will try to get your attention with a repetitive feeling or a certain thought sequence that you cannot ignore. And the more you take notice of that, then you can start to follow the breadcrumbs or the clues, the cosmic clues. Every time I'm around this person, I don't know why, because this is what trips us up, because we don't want to be in our ego. This is like something that I see with actually very spiritually gifted people a lot, is that they're actually more, because of the evolution of their soul, they're so aware of the ego and they don't want to be in their ego that they reject themselves from knowing the answer in the moment. And they go, well, every time I'm around this person or this particular thing, I feel this way, but I don't know why, but I just keep feeling this way. And instead of allowing themselves to have that knowingness that something is out of resonance and moving accordingly, they continue to sacrifice their own energy. Okay, so the next question I want to ask you, where do you continue to sacrifice your own energy? Because one, you think you might be in your ego, or you don't want to let someone down, or like there are like all these circumstances. We have to, okay, higher self integration is not what we think it is. As humans, we tend to think that higher self integration is I'm going to do things that serve other people that actually take me out of my own alignment, because I'll feel better about myself and I'll feel like I'm doing the right thing. When really, true crystallized higher self alignment is I'm choosing me in every single moment. I'm choosing me. not in a selfish way, not in an egotistical way, not in a I'm better than way, but simply I'm choosing to acknowledge what's being shown to me in this moment that makes the most sense for my path. And you know what happens? Okay, this is a really important concept that I want everybody to walk away with today that absolutely has changed so many situations in my life. You have to believe more in other people's abundance than you believe in their lack. The core illusion and issue here is that not only do we believe in lack for ourselves, that other things are possible and available, which is why we hold on to things and do self-sacrificing things, we also don't believe that other people are truly abundant, right? I mean, really think about this. The ego goes, oh, well, if I leave this person's life, right, then they will be without me and they will have nothing. Oh, really? That's how you think things work? How about the same way they're going to get replaced in your life, you're going to get replaced in their life? Or, gosh, I really cannot stand this job anymore, but I'm staying because, you know, the team really depends on me. And if I'm not here, then they're not going to be as successful. You are entertaining lack. However you want to look at it, you're entertaining lack. Now, what if you say, well, I've expanded beyond them? And that means that there's someone else that is the perfect vibrational match for that position, where when they step into that position, they will be aligned, happy, fulfilled. It'll be great for them at where they are in their journey, and it'll simultaneously be great for that organization. And boom, they're going to have a magical co-creative experience without me. And I'm going to go somewhere else, and I'm going to create something that's a perfect vibrational match for me. So what we think is being selfish by choosing what's in alignment for us in the moment is actually us honoring both sides of the spectrum to expand in a way that is most cohesive and in harmonic resonance with the vibration that is presenting itself. There is no lack for anyone involved. Gosh, you know, I really don't want to be a part of this project or this event or this thing, but I think that without me, it's not going to succeed, and I'm going to let people down, and this and that, and the whole story. Okay, well, what if I exit because it's not resonant to me, and other people feel in that energy, and now that event can be what it needs to be for the people who need to be there, and I'm going to go somewhere else where the people who need to experience me, it's going to be a different tier of the folks who are going to experience me in a different capacity, in a different setting. It's like stop making me laugh. This is how this stuff works. I'm literally getting a visual of Source moving things around on a chessboard. You know, it's like everything's just being continuously like this, like all of the higher selves are like, okay, boom, move, shift, boom. Okay, the deal is sealed. Like, we did our thing. It's done. Boom. I'm going to go here. You're going to go here. And it's constantly moving and changing. It's just, there is no lack for anybody involved. Shaman Durek said something that has become one of my new life principles in one of his recent interviews that I stumbled across on YouTube. And he spoke about, I'm not going to co-validate lack. Okay. And what that means is sometimes we stay in these outdated timelines because we do believe more in lack than we do abundance, right? People convince us of certain things. Oh, well, you're already making XYZ at that job or whatever the situation is, so you should just be happy with that. Okay, I've decided I do not co-validate lack in other people's lives. If you want to believe in lack of any situation or any outcome or any circumstance, you can do so. But do not try to reel me in to agree, right? I don't want to use my God-given sacred universal life force energy to support a timeline where not only you're lacking stuff, but I'm lacking stuff. Everybody here, we can all just make a decision. We do not co-validate lack. We do not support lackful timelines and vibrations and ideas and concepts and themes. I just don't do it. It doesn't mean that I got to get into like a whole dispute battle with you and try to convince you of your abundance. But I mean, if you spend enough time around me, I will convince you of your abundance. And I will not stop until you agree finally that you are abundant. But I only do that to like close people in my life. Not just like random strangers. But, you know, the whole point is, where are you holding on to things out of a belief in lack? That's what you guys know, my thing. It always gets back to the core that you believe in lack. And then where are you allowing people to lure you into supporting their lack? This is really challenging when it comes to family, I'm hearing, for a lot of people. Really, really challenging. You know, like you want your family to be in your level of consciousness so bad, and you would sacrifice yourself to do anything to help them get there. But in the process of doing so, you dilute your own frequency because you don't believe that they can create a higher timeline without you. You see, when you insert yourself in someone's reality, meaning you think you are the middleman between them and source. If you think you're the middleman between somebody and source, what you're essentially saying is, without me, you will never experience abundance, or if you don't get on this bandwagon with me. You have to let these people be on their journey and come to their own realization when it's time. For a lot of these people in our family, bless them, but they're just not going to experience it in this lifetime because their soul doesn't want to. But we get to be examples, right? Every time I interact with my family, I get to be an example of someone who's creating the highest reality that they can fathom. And then they just keep expanding and they keep expanding and they get more glimpse and they get more insight. But I don't need to pressure them. I'm not going to co-validate their lack, meaning I'm not going to get into these conversations of lack. I just don't do it. But I'm also not going to pressure them to be where I am and try to be self-sacrificing and get, live and let live. If you truly believe in their abundance, because you believe that abundance is the only real true, the only law, if you really believe that in your soul to your core, then you know that nobody is going without anything. They are just temporary realities that they are experiencing based on their vibration, soul contracts, and level of consciousness. That's it. So I don't feel bad when people experience lack. I just simply go, oh, their soul is experiencing lack, choosing to experience lack right now. All right, we're going to go a little bit deeper, feeling this from the angelic realm, because this touches on some ancestral themes as well. Ancestral themes, also gender identity things when we get into the concept of lack. When you transcend your avatar, the character in the game, the character in the matrix that they said you are supposed to be. Okay. When you transcend that, there is no such thing as lack in any aspect. in any aspect. I'm going to talk about this in detail in some material I have coming out on a big platform. But to sum it up here, the moment I was reabsorbed back into source, my entire reality shattered instantaneously. And I could see all of my lifetimes, my parallel selves. I could see beyond time. I could see into eternity. I could just see, into the source kingdoms. The first thing that had to go and did go was the idea of being separate from source or without anything based on a skin color, gender, or any identity, anything that you're entertaining. Because guess what? If I wiped your memory clean slate right now, and if you're in any of my programs, you know we do this. If we were to wipe your memory clean and you were to become a blank slate of consciousness right now, what would you be? You would be pure I am. That's it. You would just be pure I am. And when you're pure I am, there's nothing within self that you don't have access to, because if it's all myself as source, that means it could never be separate from me, apart from me, outside of me, unavailable to me, disconnected from me. These are really deep themes of lack that, as the timeline crystallization continues to happen, in some way or another, it's going to come up and it's going to challenge you. And you're going to have to say, oh, wait, do I still resonate with that story of lack? Do I still resonate with that program? They're just like codes in a computer. Literally like codes in a computer. If you were to see a code written out, okay, this code is, I believe that based on this and this and this, that I only have access to this and this and this. And what's going to happen is your higher self is going to continue to put you in situations, continue to put you in situations, continue to put you in situations until you can reach a point of having that breakthrough of I am. I am. You see, when you say I am, this is the same frequency of the 0 point. And what is 0? It's not negative or positive. It simply is. The I am is the same energy of 0, which is the same energy of infinite possibility. So if I say I am, but I don't put anything after I am, that's me sitting in my infinite nature. If I say I am a woman, or I am a man, or I am this or that, and then whatever is attached to that identity of that I am, then I become that I am. My reality becomes that I am that I am. Okay? So what does I am that I am means? What does that mean? You have your I am, your centric point of I am, which is your 0, which is your nothing but everything, okay? And if I decide to shift my consciousness into something, to become something, then I say, well, I am happy. That means I am that particular state of I am. Okay, that's what that means. I am that I am. I know people, we hear that all the time, but what does that actually mean? When we say I am that I am, we're saying I am that I am, meaning I am choosing that I am as the state of consciousness that I'm choosing to assume, and on an energetic level to morph into. Now we're going really, really high with this. I'm speaking to you as your source self. I'm not speaking to you as your human self right now. I'm speaking to you as your source self. We're pulling you into your true identity, which is why the I am are the two most powerful words, sound frequency translations in this dimension. Because whenever you say I am, What first happens is you go back into your source self, the nothing but the everything. And then you consciously decide, as source, what energetic form do I want to take on next? Play around with this. Whatever you've been trying to manifest, I want you to go into your I am. I am experiencing a new house. I am experiencing my dream car. So what's happening is I'm not going outside of I am, aka outside of source, to get it or to ask for it or to even receive it. I'm shifting energetically to become the very thing that I'm asking for. You see the difference? If I say I am the experience of more money, I use my source consciousness to morph into the picture where within that picture, I am the character experiencing more money. I'm not saying I wish I had more money. No, I am more money because I am the actual energy that paints the picture. You see, it's all just a holographic illusion. So it's, it's really difficult to put this into words, but it's like, you are the energy that fills up the room. Thank you. Yes, you are the energy that fills up the room. You are the energetic potential that fills the canvas, that paints the canvas with the new picture. I am whatever you want to be. And the cool thing about I am is no matter where you are in consciousness, so we're experiencing ourselves as being human, so there is a degree of separation that we're contractually experiencing right now. The thing about accessing your I am state is that it will transcend whatever limitations apply to that temporary agreement within reason. So source, who's infinitely in the I am, never left the I am, recognizes that you are still consciously going between the separation and the I am. So, and will do everything in its power to support the I am that you're wanting to experience, the manifestation, basically. We'll talk in that term. The manifestation, the materialization, the actualization of what you're wanting to experience. The more you access I am, the more the universe is always going to support you, but the more you will be in this co-creative, playful energy of always getting what you want or what you desire or what you are dreaming into existence. That's what we're doing as I am. We're dreaming realities into existence. Okay? You don't have to be an I am all the time. We're contractually here to experience being human, separation, the idea of being the character, the personality. That's fun. The whole point is it's fun when you are not attached to the avatar and the identity, which is why we said play around with this idea of what if my memory was wiped clean? No race, no ethnicity, no background, no story, no concept of being anything, being from anywhere, practicing any type of religion or thing. What would I be? I would simply be awareness, which is the I am, which is the everything and the nothing simultaneously. And then from that point, I could choose what I want to morph into. It's really triggering to release the stories. And we understand this on a deep level. Okay? It's really triggering to release the stories about what's possible for you, what's available for you, what can happen for you, when it can happen, how fast it can happen, how expansive it can be. But when you sit in the seat of your I am and you go there frequently, and you go there for replenishment and sustenance and nourishing and nurturing, and you experience the unconditional love of Father Source and Mother Source, and you transcend the idea of whatever identity and character, reality is your playground. And so what happens is you're on the outside of the game looking in. And listen, you will see people playing the game. You will see them being attached to their identity and all of this stuff and these stories and these collective themes, and you will understand that it's relevant to their experience for the time being. But you will become the timekeeper, because you'll be on the outside of that. And you'll go, it's kind of like when you watch kids on a playground. And even if they fall or they stumble and you just understand it's a part of growing up. That these things are going to happen. That when a child is learning how to ride a bike without training wheels and they fall over and they scrape their knee. Okay, but in scraping the knee, there's something that they learn that when they get back on the bike will actually make their balance better. That's what it's like for Source, watching so many different types of beings within creation stumble and fall and get back up through the experience, but never once is actually concerned about us, because we will always return back to the I am. But why wait until you die? The angels are saying, why wait until you die? That's so fucked up. You want to just die? You die, you go back to Source and you go, wow. There's so much more that I could have done, that I could have influenced, that I could have experienced. Go into your I am now. Frequently. You don't have to hold yourself there, but the simple awareness that that's what I really am should expand you, should enlighten you, should excite you, should free you from whatever themes and stories of lack you've been telling yourself. Okay, so what I want to do now, and I want to say one last thing. This is why you will never see me call myself a Black consciousness teacher. I'm not a Black consciousness teacher. I know I have a lot of melanated people that follow me, but I have a lot of other types of people that follow me. I am a universal, omnidimensional emissary of light. And my job in this plane is to bring everybody back to the I am. No matter what avatar you're in. They just wanted me to say that. Okay, so what I want to do is bring on some questions here. Whoever has a question, you can request to join, and let's make some magic. Let's co-create some timeline shift, I don't know, of the ages. Let's see how far out into the field we can go together. Okay, let's go with, I believe it's GG3. If you are still here. Hello.
Hi, Erin. Oh my God. I can't wait to tell my sister I got sick.
So, what do you want to talk about?
So I wanted to know if I don't know if the planets aligning. I know we have a parade of planets today that are aligning, and I've been extremely exhausted for the past couple days, and I just want to know if it has anything to do with that, because I don't think I'm overworking or anything to be feeling this way.
System upgrades. light body expansion happening for you. So even the alignment of this conversation today, like this being in your field, you are expanding into what we'll call a more crystallized template, a more crystallized blueprint of how you're going to be not only perceiving but experiencing reality. So every time we quantum leap through the field into higher density versions of us, we are it's kind of like our body is upgrading, but we actually are shifting through different bodies, if that makes sense.
Yes.
We call it upgrading, but they're actually showing me that we're quantum leaping into different cellular versions of our body,
Mm.
which is why even your spirit being acclimated in that body, you feel tired or you feel, it would be like if you were at an amusement park all day and then you go home and you're tired, you put your body has been through something.
Right.
So that's what's happening for you right now.
Okay. I had an idea that's what it was. Because every
Yeah,
time I've gone through
it
something,
gets it can be very exhausting, just rest when you
yeah.
can. And okay, don't feel like you're going to miss out on anything, because that could be a deep, like, human sort of program that can come with us as we're shifting, which is, well, if I rest or if I'm tired, then I'm missing out. Your higher self just knows how to align the energy in a way where you can process that transition and that rest and still have things fall into place.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
That makes a lot of sense. Thank you for that confirmation. Because I was like, "Woo, I can't stay up. I'm working and I'm like falling asleep while I'm working. I don't even take naps and I've been just sleeping throughout the day." Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly what's going on, hon. And so many people here are experiencing the same thing. So thank you for your question.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right. Let's see who we have next. Okay, Tiffany. Tiffany is coming on next. Hello.
Hi.
So lovely to see
Great to
you. What do you have
see
for us today?
So I really feel as though, first of all, hi, hello, Erin. How are you?
Hello.
Let's just start there. So I really feel as though my guides and spirit have been trying to get me to slow down with this emphasis on you've been working too hard. Like you're doing too much in order to create in the way that you can create, if that makes sense, right? And so with a huge focus on self-regulation and just regulating my nervous system. But I feel as though I can feel myself manifesting. I can feel things coming to my awareness. I can even feel people manifesting me. But I find that as I'm manifesting, some of the things I'm manifesting, it almost feels like I'm too humble. I don't know if that makes sense. It's like the things that I'm manifesting, I have such a, like, I'm very grateful for everything. But anytime it goes above a certain, like, I just can't see more.
Mm,
I can't.
I see.
I'm just so excited for the simple things, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah.
That going beyond that could, but then it's like, there's a job that I want, kind of. I don't want to get too much into it, but it's just like, can I have that? And can my vibration meet that? Is that what you're asking of me? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm making sense.
Okay, this is good. So, okay, this is what the angelic realm has for you right now. There are sort of two games of manifestation that go on here. One is specific manifestation, one is more general manifestation. For a certain period of time, it's exciting for our soul as we're still awakening and developing to play the specific manifestation game. Meaning, God, like if I could just manifest that job or whatever this, that would be so amazing, that would be right. And you do that a few times, and it's thrilling, it's exciting, it's great. We need to have that experience to reinforce the idea that we are creators of our reality.
Yes.
So it serves a certain function for the soul. But then something happens where you might say, I don't really have a burning desire
I don't.
anymore, right?
I
I
don't.
don't, like, for me personally, I stopped experiencing burning desires like 3-ish years ago now. And it is a little bit scary because you become so good at manifesting, and you're like, I'm so good at manifesting, and I'm so used to the next thing that I'm going to manifest. But then you will hit a ceiling where your soul goes, okay, well, I know I can do that, but that's not really, it doesn't really light me up. So what happens is you just surrender. And this is a more ascended version of manifestation where you don't even try to manifest. You just allow spirit to fill in the highest possible outcomes based on your vibration. Now, there will still be points in time where a more fine-tuned desire might come into my awareness, and so for an example of that would be like manifesting a new house or something, because that's immediately relevant to my experience. But other things, I'm just sort of like, source is running the show. Everything is, I'm going to go where I'm going to go. Source is running the show. I'm going to go where I'm going to go. And in that energy, that is the ascension blueprint, because it carries less attachment.
Yeah.
So you don't have to make anything happen. When you get really excited about something that's specific, if you're excited, there's momentum behind you willing that into being for the purpose of the experience. Because truly, we don't have to will anything. Like, Source can just drop it in like a new code into the game. But when it's not relevant to play the manifestation game in that way, don't.
Okay.
And interestingly, when I really started feeling this way, like just this sense of, I don't even know what's next, because I really don't, I can't even picture it, and I don't even know where to focus my energy. What actually came was something that I couldn't fathom. You see, you don't have the fine-tuned desire because you can't fathom actually what's coming next.
Right.
It will more than likely be such a dramatic quantum leap that's off your radar screen. So get excited about that, and you will accelerate through what can feel like an in-between time faster.
Thank you.
Does that make sense?
That makes perfect sense, actually. And I'm really glad that you picked on the lack of desire, because I'm like, okay, but I'm I don't think I'm supposed to be here, because it is the in between, you know what I mean? And I don't want to stay here. So I'm glad that you picked up on that and spoke to that. So yes, it makes perfect sense.
When we have a general idea of like what we prefer, so let's say right now you're like, I'm not necessarily unhappy here, but I can sense that there's more, but it's not clear enough for me to flow energy and like manifest it. The best energy you can be in is general, meaning I sense that something more is coming. I'm content with where I am. I understand it's serving a purpose. And universe, I will let you guide me through the actualization of what's coming
Yes.
next. Take like the pressure off of yourself to need to know what's coming next,
Yeah.
and let source show you this is what's next.
Gotcha.
And I would recommend entertaining the frequency of excitement. Like, be excited about the unknown as opposed to intimidated by the unknown. I'm so excited by the thought of being surprised with something that I can't see or imagine right now.
Okay.
And it's going to make what feels uncomfortable more enjoyable.
I got you.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
You're so welcome, hun. Amazing question. Thank you so much for asking.
Absolutely.
Brilliant. Thank you. So there's another concept that was coming in that I wanted to share with everybody. Okay. Before the next person joins, there's a quick concept I want to share. And when we're thinking about ourselves as manifesting, in our minds, we sort of see it as attracting, magnetizing it in. And that's just a concept that Source has used to get us to understand that we create our own reality. But as you accelerate more into quantum consciousness, what happens is you sort of realize you don't have to manifest or attract anything. You just go to the timeline where it exists. And so in that way, you become the center of your universe. Everybody here, by the way, you are the center of your universe. You are Source, I am Source, and we're all overlapping consciousness. That is what the multiverse is. You are a universe within a universe, okay? So when you desire to experience something and you leave everybody else out of it, all of the other characters, you go to the timeline where the outcome is what you want it to be. So, okay, we're gonna make this practical. Let's say you're applying for a job and you're like, this job is extremely competitive. When we're in linear consciousness, or we believe we have to kind of manifest things in a 3D way, we go, well, I need to manifest them saying yes to me because there's so many other people and it's competitive and this and that and whatever. Different type of manifestational experience you'll have. As opposed to going, okay, I'm going to go to the timeline within the quantum field where they say yes to me. It's like nobody else even exists because I'm the center of my universe. Do you understand? Bashar, the channeler Bashar, gave an amazing, similar breakdown of this. He was relating it to lottery numbers. And he explained what most people do is they have these lottery numbers and you're like, I hope these are the winning numbers. I hope these are the winning numbers. As opposed to, these are the numbers that win in this timeline. Let's go to that timeline. Does that make sense? It's very different. Quantum manifestation is very, very different than when we are actually attached to something and we're trying to cling to all, having all of the circumstances be a certain way. And it's just easier to go vibrationally to the timeline where the circumstances of that timeline align with your desire. Yes, it is all law of attraction. This is true. It's all law of attraction. It's all different ways of explaining how energy works when you expand your consciousness. Okay? Either way, it's all about the frequency and the state of being that will teleport you to that timeline. But you see, if I say, I hope and I wish these numbers, and I hope I get lucky that these numbers, and you can still get yourself in a certain frequency, right, of excitement about those numbers and manifest that experience if it's within contractual agreement for that to happen. But it's far easier if I say, oh, these numbers are the winning numbers. Or I have the winning resume. I am the best candidate. There is no other, the competition does not exist in this timeline that I'm choosing for myself. And when you do that, you because the mind naturally just likes to think, well, how is this going to happen for me when there's this variable and this factor and this element and all of these different things? Okay, well, what if I just completely obliterate all of those elements and I simply say, I'm going to the timeline where I am the best candidate for the job? And then that means on this timeline, these people who are making the decision are also in alignment with me. A part of this is collapsing the idea of others. I understand everybody's not in a space to play the game on that level, but you can. At any point, you can decide to collapse the illusion of there's someone else. That's going into your I am. We're relating what we spoke about today about being in your I am now to quantum reality. All right? So apply that to whatever situation, condition you're experiencing right now. Like, am I going to get it? Am I not going to get it? Is this going to... Okay, let me go to the timeline where no one else exists but me, and it's mine. Entertain that frequency. Dyla, if you're still here. Dyla, I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Wow. So I was purposely not trying to manifest, staying on that vibration. I was like, should I sit down in the lighting because it's about to happen right now? It's happening.
You
Wow.
prepared, subconsciously prepared for something that was aligning in your now.
Amazing. Absolutely. How are you?
I'm amazing. Thank you
Good,
for asking.
good. So I wanted to ask, let me make sure my camera is clear enough. Um, so I've been channeling since I was really little, maybe as early as 3 or 4 I could remember. And I've always had these beings speaking to me and telling me things about the world. A lot of things that we're talking about now, quantumness and us living in a matrix and stuff. They used to tell me that Earth is school and that there's levels to this, all these things. And throughout my life, I've had them channeling into me, right? Like I live in Africa right now. They told me to move here. I moved here with $167. So all this, right, is very real to me. But somehow I've still the very, while also having the memory of all this and the knowing, I'm also equally in denial. And I had like psychic friends tell me like, you are a channeler, this is your time. I have accepted it more, I feel like this year than ever. Like my business is growing more. I'm doing a form of my hypnosis that they gave to me. But there's just a lot of things like I know stuff that I shouldn't know. I'm a painless birth worker, so I teach people how to give birth without pain. And these are things that I did not know. It's like I'm just zapped with this information and I remember it, but then I'm also in denial. Like, how is that possible?
Two things happening that I'm just seeing in your field.
Mm.
One is pertaining to self-worth concepts and themes coming from just collective templates, but also your own personal experiences. And fear, subconscious fear coming from on a multi-dimensional level from multiple timelines of being rejected or persecuted or maybe even not using your power. Okay, as it pertains to this
Mm-hmm.
particular incarnation, the angelic realm is giving you that a lesson for you is to use your power in this lifetime, because there have been instances where you did it for various reasons. So you're being presented with an opportunity to be seen in your light, in your gifts, in your power. But it is a sort of recurring theme for you that you should overcome in this lifetime cycle. Very important,
Mm-hmm.
they're saying, for you to overcome. Now, the self-worth part, oftentimes we can associate visibility with ego, meaning, well, who am I to be seen, or to be, or why me? Why do I have this certain gift or access or power, or will I feel comfortable with people perceiving me in this way, or this attention
Yeah.
being on? We can have all these ideas of what
Yeah.
that means. I want you to shift into this new paradigm, which is the highest expression of self-love is to allow myself to be seen in my divinity. And
Okay.
do not make your gifts about you. This was a major shift for me. When I stopped making my gifts about me and about more so the ripple effect of them beyond
Mm.
me, that is when I knew it was a sort of sacred responsibility to step into the calling. Because right now you're like, well, you're making it very personal, right? We want
Mhm.
you to expand into what you
Mm.
came here to do for the collective. It doesn't mean self-abandoning or forgetting about yourself or
Mm.
not honoring your emotions in the process. But when we make things very personal about us, and it's usually out of some insecurity coming from the ego, um, we cap the impact that we can have, right? So your soul is just revealing to me that there have been instances where you've done this, where you didn't allow yourself to be okay on the main stage, to be in that main character energy, which is why
Mhm.
you feel so much importance around you making the shift. I would work with, if you can work with a multidimensional channeler or healer or someone who can help you release whatever the beliefs, the programs, or the attachments to these other timelines are. On, like, we're doing this right now in the background, but they're just
Right.
showing me some deeper things to be released, and you will experience more ease with moving forward.
Okay. Okay. So you mean things that are in this timeline as well, and then also other experiences I
Correct.
may have
Both.
had where I was maybe
Both.
stopped
The
by. Okay.
worthiness
Okay.
piece, I feel coming more so from this incarnation,
Mhm.
and some of the other fear programs are beyond what you've consciously experienced here.
Okay. That makes sense because I'm like, how could I know this and remember all this? This year I have been like, I came out my closet of like, I'm like, okay, I am a
Yeah.
channeler. I have been doing this all my life and it feels really freeing. But then it's like, yeah, it's still, I'm just like, how could I
There's
be in
another
denial about
element
something I
for
know?
you of comparison, meaning because channeling and this type of thing is becoming more mainstream, and we have access to seeing how other people do it, and they're in a
Yes.
trance channel, or their eyes are closed, or maybe their eyes are open, and like all these different things, and you're thinking, well, will I be credible is what comes through.
Mm,
If I
mm-hmm,
say I'm a
mm-hmm.
channeler but it doesn't look like that or sound like that, or this expectation. So, okay, this is for
Yeah.
everybody right now, because so many people are going to be initiated into this work. It doesn't look like what anyone else is doing. It gets to
Yeah.
look like whatever you want it to look like. You don't even have to call it channeling.
Yeah.
And really, okay, this recommendation is coming through for you for a while. Maybe you don't call it channeling because there's a story, and there's vibrational baggage attached to that word. It's like, even the word psychic. A lot of people have a lot of resistance to identifying as a psychic. It's, who am
Mm-hmm.
I to be psychic or say that I can do that or that I am that, right? So how about you just say intuitively led by spirit? This is for a lot
Okay.
of people here, by the way, who are struggling with this. I'm intuitively led by spirit.
Okay.
Or better, more, I have a pure intention to serve.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's really
Mm-hmm.
what it is at the core, right? No matter what we
Yeah.
call it or how it shows up, or like, I have a pure intention to serve, and I'm intuitively led by spirit. I
Mm-hmm.
do see that for your ego, it releases the pressure of needing to perform,
Yeah.
needing to
Okay.
show up
Mhm.
with. Because here's the thing, and so many of my psychic development clients in Priestess Portal, we have to go through this, where the moment I start publicly calling myself a channeler or medium or a psychic or all these different things, then that means people will expect things from me.
Mhm.
And if they ask me something and I don't have the answer, am I really who I say I am?
Mhm.
That's operating in a performative
Mhm.
energy. I practice something in my work where, like, I'll have some people who, they come across certain like trans channel things that I've done on YouTube, and they're like, they want me to go into a source trans channel and perform. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
no, actually, we're not doing that today. I can answer the questions in this format, right?
Mhm.
Um, Anybody who wants to do this work, what we really want to say is don't allow people to demand things from you. You show up how you want to show up, and that's it.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
basically, summarizing this, we want you to take the pressure off of needing to be anything for anyone.
Okay. Yeah, no,
Okay?
that's definitely a word because I curse. I'm like, I asked one of my friends that's a reader. I'm like, but am I going to be speaking in third person? She's like, have you been speaking in third person? No. I'm like, okay, exactly. So can I just show up in the way that I have been? And she it basically said the same exact thing because yeah, it's still a vibration of myself with the beings that are speaking to me. So that makes sense.
And it's about the focus on the impact that you want to have, and don't focus on the way that you're going to deliver that impact. That's going to
Okay.
shift the vibration
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah.
Every time I do anything, I always set the intention. If I'm going to post a reel, and I know people could say, I mean, it's a 30-second clip. I don't care. I want to align in the intention of what is the desired impact of this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because that's going to keep you aligned with the objective,
The
not
purpose.
making it about
Yeah.
yourself, or
Mm-hmm.
because insecurities can speak loud. Well, what if it's not perfect, or it's not okay, what is the impact and what is the intention?
Yeah.
That will always pull you back into energetic alignment.
Mm-hmm. I feel
Okay.
that. Okay. Thank
Yes,
you.
you're
Thank
so
you so
welcome,
much.
hun. Amazing conversation. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. You're welcome.
So someone asked about the lottery. I want to go back to the lottery thing really quickly. About, can I truly win the lottery, or is it soul contractual? And it's a blend of both. How it works is most people who are playing the lottery or gambling in any sort are relating to that experience from a frequency of lack. Okay? So if I say I really can't pay my rent and I'm scared, and I'm going to go to the casino and I'm going to spend my last, and just, I pray to God, I hope that I win and I get some money. Now, some people might work their self into a vibration of so much belief um, because of the intensity of the situation, that they could very much well go to the casino and they win that money. But 9 times out of 10, they're going to be back in the same situation again, because the vibration from which they were creating that was already rooted in lack. Um, Someone could go with that same scenario, and they can't, not only can they not get themselves into belief, but the despair, right? The despair of the situation is vibrationally dominating. So they're going to lose all their money. They're going to lose all their money. Now, someone could have a ton of money and they go to the casino and they're gambling because it's fun, and they keep winning. They were never relating to the experience from a frequency of lack. So when it comes to anything, I want you to ask yourself, am I relating to this from a frequency of lack or true abundance? If you are relating to winning the lottery because you think, oh my gosh, I'm so broke and this would change everything for me, and that is a certain vibration that isn't in resonance with the version of you that would hit this lottery and have all this money. It's too big of a gap to go from despair to abundance. Now, if I'm playing the lottery out of total innocence, pure fun, or sheer belief or luck, or having fun with the concept of luck, the probability of you winning, shifting into a timeline where you have the winning numbers, becomes higher. Now, how the soul contract fits in is if there are certain lessons and experiences that you need to have that you have not mastered, okay, and getting that amount of money would help you bypass those experiences, then two things can happen. You won't win the lottery, or you can get yourself into this vibration where you will win, but somehow end up losing the money, which is why they say most people who win the lottery end up going broke again. And it's usually because the lessons that they would need to experience as it pertains to being able to truly hold abundance, they have not accomplished or mastered. So they got themselves in a vibration where they could win the lottery, and this could also be soul contractual, that they were going to win and then lose the money. You know, so many different ways this could work. All in all, what is the frequency that you're relating to something that you're asking for? Let's apply it to attracting a new partner or a new job. If we go, I really want this thing because then I will be complete or better in some way, or more, um, just, it will save me. Okay, that's the frequency. It will save me in some way. It usually is not sustainable, meaning the manifestation also comes with other things. This is why we have people in work scenarios who, it's like this person literally, you might have the same resume as them. You might even work harder than them. You might even think you have better ideas than them, but they just keep getting promoted. They just keep crushing it. They just keep, and you're like, how? I know I'm smarter than this person. Okay, they've managed to activate a vibration of winning and a vibration of believing that they should have whatever raise, opportunity, promotion that is available. They're not approaching it from lack. So the note that we'll end it on is the universe and source doesn't pity anyone. Source is never looking at you and going, oh, poor him or her. They are so disadvantaged. Let me give them this. Yes, there's a such thing as divine intervention and there's unconditional love. However, source in the universe just scans your frequency. And that's why people who are wealthy usually continue to be more wealthy. And people who are poor continue to stay poor, because it becomes a vibrational pattern of expectation, and then it starts creating a rhythm where this is your repetitive signal that you radiate out into the field, and the field is responding to that, and then you only have access to the same set of timelines. I always tell you guys this: a timeline loop is literally only that you keep recycling through the same timelines, experiencing the same thing, experiencing the same version of things in disguise in different ways, but nonetheless the same energetic quality or emotional quality of whatever it is: lack, disappointment, failure, unfulfillment. So you want to shift your attitude. I said this before. Stop being a loser. We're programmed to have this, like, this sense of pride that comes with failure and losing and being an underdog. That is not your true blueprint. Your true blueprint is that of abundance, that you can have anything. You are everything. You deserve to experience whatever you want within integrity and within what is the highest for all. So stop entertaining these conversations of lack and co-validating lack and being proud about your lack and feeling like somehow source is supporting you more than someone else because you're experiencing lack. It doesn't work that way. It's a vibration. What is your vibration? All right. So that's what we have, folks. It was so fun hanging out with you. I haven't done this in like a month. Just being pregnant is just, it's been an experience. It's a ride. So whenever I have the energy, I'm so excited that I can show up and I can give in this way. And so hopefully we'll be back again soon. Much love, everybody.